Patrick at Pals. And Chuck, this is our TR6. Where are we at on this car?
Well, Jimmy's in the process of wiring the car now. We put in a bunch of the electronic controls up here, and he's working inside the car as well. Once we get it wired, we get the headlights wired up. As you can see, we got those wires ran also. He's already built one seat for the interior. He's got half of the other seat done. But once we get the car wired up, we want to try to make it run to make sure we're good there. We've also got to finish building the steering column for it, but it's coming together. It's coming together nicely.
So this car came to you in a lot of boxes, and the customer said they had all of the parts available, or all the parts necessary to put it back together. How true is that?
It's never true. It's never true. What a person's perception of what you need to put the car together and what reality is are always different. This car sat in disrepair for years, maybe even decades. It got taken apart, and are some of the parts that they have reusable? They are, but not all of them. Definitely not all of them. You know, a lot of these electronic modules and stuff are all brand new that we had to get for it. As you can see, we have a factory harness. Now, he did have the factory harness, and it was new in the box, so we were able to use that.
So the customer has some of the parts, just not all the parts.
Right. And some of the parts are in such poor condition, you just can't use them, either through corrosion from sitting for time, or the part's just broken and doesn't work. So we're having to really reconstruct the car is what we're having to do.
And a lot of those electrical parts, people don't think. We're in Florida where it's really high humidity. Those parts are in cardboard, aren't they?
Right, that's exactly right. And so, you know, the moisture doesn't help any. And again, this car sat in pieces for a long time. It's in parts in boxes in the back room. It didn't have doors on it when it got here. So, you know, we've made good progress with the car, but we're trying to get it done as quickly as we can to get it back into the customer's hands.
And if you were the customer, you know, just casually looking at it, it came in as a roller, and you'd see it where it was, where it is right now, and you'd say, oh, those guys probably got a couple days in this, right? But the reality is...
Oh, no, it'll be a couple of weeks, if not a month or longer, because you gotta wire the entire car. We gotta make sure that it runs. Then we've got to build the entire interior for the car. Luckily, this is not like doing a frame off on the 66 Vet, which took 14 months. This is a build that's going to take a couple more months, but most of it's already here. We've got most of it done. And little things, people don't think about little things. Like, to give you an example, there are no guts in these doors. There's no window tracks. There's no candles. None of that. We've got the latches on, which we put on recently. But yeah.
So you've got to get all the window parts, all the door handle parts. What about the door skins? Do we have those?
We have the door skins in the back. They came with the interior with the carpet. But as you can see, you got to build the entire door. That takes time. That's not something that just goes 10 minutes and you got a door. You got to put the window tracks in. You've got to put the rollers in to roll the windows up and down. I mean, there's more to it. And keep in mind, this is a little car, and it's not very sophisticated, but look how complicated the wiring is for this vehicle.
Absolutely. And you know, Chuck, I'm looking at these Smith gauges here. Mm-hmm. And the customer brought these to us. Now, if you're going to spend thousands of dollars on the restoration of this car, do you want to put that gauge in with the dirt and dust that's behind the needles, or do you want them reconditioned?
Right. Well, what we're going to do is, the gauges are okay. We just need to take them apart and clean them up.
Clean them up so that they look brand new.
You know, because we're trying to keep this cost down. It takes more money than you think to rebuild a car.
Right.
You know, you can see where we're using the old gauges there. We're going to clean them up as well.
And folks, these are Smith's gauges, so these are the best of the best. If you look online, these are very expensive. They're just not aftermarket gauges. These are the real deal Smith gauges. And the dash, I know that we've got a brand new dash in the back, and the customer's going to have to tell you how they want that finished.
Correct. Right. Yeah. It's a wooden dash that goes over there, but it's an unfinished wooden dash. So we'll let them pick the stain, and then we'll stain that dash for them, and then put varnish over the top of it so that it has a glossy finish. And then we'll mount that in there and be able to put his gauges and tack and speedometer in.
And this car really means a lot to the family, doesn't it? I mean, it's been here a long time.
It does. He drove this car years ago, and the gentleman who owns it's a retired attorney who really is getting up in years. And so what he's trying to do is have his last hoorah driving his TR6.
And his son was in a couple weeks ago to take a look at our progress, right?
Yep. Yeah, and we're making good progress. Engine, transmission are in. We've got to run the drive shaft. But the biggest thing is the wiring. We've got to get all the wiring mapped out so that we can run the car to make sure we have a viable engine. And then once we get that done, we'll be able to finish the car up. It looks a lot easier than it is, though.
Folks, if you've got a TR6 and you want it right, bring it to Pals. See you soon.